The last 2 nights we have been talking about the question that I asked you all was basically, have you been affected by the government shutdown? And if you have, what have you been thinking about doing, right? What has the government shutdown shown you? And so since we have been talking about the government shutdown, tonight I want to review with you all some of the things in this big, beautiful bill. All right. So the legislation itself is very extensive. I have been reading it the last couple of weeks in more detail. And so tonight I wanted to shed a couple of highlights that I feel kind of are more maybe what people may or may not want to know about the bill, right? And that question could still be put out there, right? If you have been affected by the government shutdown, what is your action plan? What is your game plan for that, right? If you all are new here to my page and my channel, I am very big on solutions. I am not somebody that likes to hear a bunch of complaining, right? Because a bunch of complaining and talking about it on the internet, having opinions, writing paragraphs and dissertations, that does nothing, right? What actually changes your life is you making a game plan, an action plan when things like this affect you, right? So the question of the last 2 days, like I said, has been, has the government shutdown affected you? And if it has, what is your plan? What do you plan on doing? How do you plan on moving differently in this next 3 to 4 years, right? So I wanted to go over this big, beautiful bill. Now, I only am going to talk about a couple of different topics on it. Now, if you all have a little more specifics, I probably got to pull some other documents and stuff up. But I have a certain amount right here in front of me that I want to go over. Let me open this screen up. All right. So I know one of the biggest things right now is everyone who are on SNAP benefits. Okay. Let me scroll down to the SNAP benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, and then some of the changes that they're making. So as far as when it comes to Medicaid, SNAP, and the new tax deductions, okay? Those of you all who are on Medicaid, the Medicaid program, they made changes to it. All right. So new requirements mandates that able-bodied adults from the ages 19 to 64 on the Affordable Care Medicaid expansion group must work, volunteer, or participate in qualifying activities for at least 80 hours per month. Okay. Now, what's the impact that this does? Those who fail to meet the requirement or increase verification paperwork lose eligibility for both Medicaid and subsidized ACA marketplace coverage. All right. So basically what that means is they are now requiring people who are on Medicaid, and they increased it because the Medicaid for adults used to be up to 54. So they just added another 10 years. All right. That's why I be telling y'all, they want you to work longer and harder. This is why you have to learn the system. So that way you're not working until your 50s and 60s. God willing, I will be retired by the time I'm 50. I got 6 years to work on my retirement plan, and I'm not working after 50. But in this case, they have increased it from 54 to 64. So that's an additional 10 years that you all have to work in order to qualify for the Medicaid. And then they're also requiring that you now do 80 hours per month, which is basically 20 hours a week. Now, again, somebody in their late 50s and 60s, you may or may not have issues, health issues going on, but you have to volunteer or work in order to qualify to keep receiving Medicaid. All right. Increase cost sharing. A lot of this was paid for by your federal government. And so this is where it is going to really show you all how your elected officials on the local and state level are handling your business and are handling money. This is why for Illinois, I can't wait until you all can get a clearer picture, because anybody that thinks that Brandon Johnson and Governor Pritzker are doing well with spending the amount of money that they have spent, y'all are obviously not woke as you claim to be. Okay, so this is going to allow and make more responsibility on your state reps, your state Congress, your state Senate to pay attention, because now they are requiring states to impose a cost sharing of up to $35 per service for expansion with adults with incomes between 100 to 138% of the federal poverty level. All right. So basically, in a nutshell, what the impact is this increases out-of-pocket costs for a low-income population, which research suggests often leads to people skipping necessary care. All right. So normally when the states have to come up with additional funds, when the federal government is not going to cover it, who has to pay that? Us, the tax-paying citizens of that state. And so this is why it's very important for you to know and understand who you are electing, who is representing you on the Senate and Congress level within your state.